Welcome to Business Middle East. This week, we look at the price of black gold and at ongoing attempts to restore its luster. There was a sigh of relief for the oil industry as prices rose in February, the first monthly rise after steep declines over the previous 7 months. Saudi Arabia has played a key role in the fluctuating oil prices, while still remaining optimistic about the future. At the same time, US stocks rose way above expectations, and cautious optimism prevailed among investors, who are now waiting for the OPEC meeting in June. Let's have a look at oil production data for February, and then we'll come back for a discussion. Signs that oil prices are recovering have started to appear after a period of sharp decline, the likes of which had not been seen for 6 years. For the first time since last July, the oil market is starting to regain some ground. In February, the price of Brent crude oil rose by 18.79%, while WTI was up by 4.56%. Data from the United States, however, showed a 19.38% reduction in the number of drilling rigs in operation. At the same time, US crude inventories were up 8.4 million barrels by the end of February. In the Middle East, Gulf countries tried to maintain the positive tone they've adopted since the last OPEC meeting in November, something that may have contributed to the stability of oil prices. Saudi Oil Minister Ali Naimi stressed that his country has been making efforts to stabilize prices.
Saudi Arabia remains committed to helping balance the market, but circumstances require other non-OPEC nations to cooperate. Currently, they chose not to do so. They have their reasons, but I would like to be known that Saudi Arabia continues to seek consensus.
Saudi's oil production hit a record 9.8 million barrels in February. All eyes are on the upcoming OPEC meeting in June, and there seem to be no plans to hold an emergency session beforehand. A lot of questions are being asked about the durability of the current stabilization. Joining us now, we have Nur al-Din al-Hamouri, Chief Market Strategist at ADS Securities in Abu Dhabi. Will the price increases that we saw in February continue, or could we be in for another sharp decline?
Geopolitical factors had a role in price stability, especially after the latest Russian-Ukrainian agreement. And there is also the coalition attack against ISIL in Iraq. The Iraqi army got back the control of some of the oil fields near Mosul. The rising US dollar is playing a major role, meanwhile, in the decline of oil prices, despite the recent stabilization. If the dollar keeps on rising, oil prices are likely to suffer even further and are unlikely to rise significantly in the coming months. Moreover, oil production is growing while demand remains weak. Consistently negative economic news, especially from the industrial countries, is also likely to keep prices down ahead of the OPEC meeting in June.
To what extent do the Gulf oil ministers' statements contribute to this stability, even though there haven't been any moves to cut production?
The minister's remarks played a major role in the recent stabilization. The markets always follow these statements, and they try to calm the markets by saying that the recent decline is temporary and prices are likely to rise again soon. In other words, the ministers are confident that an action by the producers will happen sooner or later. That led investors to stand aside and close their short positions, which in turn helped boost oil prices.
Despite a slight rise, oil prices remain low. How could this affect the Gulf region?
Cheaper oil prices are dangerous for GCC budgets as they could end up facing deficits, which could lead to reduced spending or action being taken, such as the imposition of new taxes. However, we shouldn't forget that the GCC countries have vast financial reserves. For example, Saudi Arabia could survive 8 years of low oil prices before its spending plan would be affected. But as noted before, cheaper oil prices will affect Gulf countries in the longer term, given the huge number of projects they have scheduled in the future.
Thank you, Noor, and see you next week. That's all from Business Middle East for now. Share your comments with us via our Facebook page, Euronews Business. You can share program episodes via our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice week.